would be floored by Luke 24. After being resurrected from the tomb to restore everyone Jesus was crucified for, as he speaks to his disciples, here rebukes from our Lord. He reproved them with for not believing that the Old Testament had this very truth at its core. The only proof that is sure, the OT's about his death and resurrection, so you can't ignore. Hear the Son of God as I quote him: "O foolish ones, to not believe all that the prophets have spoken." And their noggins were open as he exegeted the scriptures which can't be possibly broken. See, all the law of Moses, the Psalms and the prophets are really all about the Son of God and their topics. So the three main Old Testament sections are really all about Christ's death and resurrection and the gospel proclamation all across the nations. Well, this might seem like such a lofty statement. Did he read himself into the text? No, sirs. The Old Testament's about him on its own terms. So go learn and so turn until, like his disciples, your hearts and your souls burn. And if you happen to ask the question, it doesn't just become about him after the resurrection.
The resurrection is the main theme of the whole Old Testament. Go check this out. Death and resurrection is the main theme of the whole Old Testament. Go check the script. Luke 24:44b. All the scriptures point to Christ, the Lord of glory. The whole Bible finds its fulfillment in Jesus.
Don't get too bored with this, but let's do some exegesis of Luke 24:46. When Jesus says, "Thus it is written," that he should be crushed and afflicted, then justly be risen. Is he just pointing to a couple of scriptures we call messianic that give us a prediction? Like Isaiah chapter 53, and perhaps Psalm 22 and Psalm 16 specifically? If you're thinking he only means these and not the whole Old Testament, then I disagree. And this is clear in a couple of ways. First, we see this from the word thus in our phrase. Don't be embarrassed by assumption. But the word thus is hutos, a comparative conjunction, giving emphasis to his grammar. Hutos means in this way or in this manner, and it is written means scripture it speaks. So now let's reword the verse literally. In this way scripture's written, that the Christ must suffer and on the third day be risen. So Jesus wasn't just quoting a verse, but rather he was laying out the main theme of the whole of the word. Messiah so stressing this, his death and resurrection summarizes the entire Old Testament.
Death and resurrection is the main theme of the whole Old Testament. Go check this out. Death and resurrection is the main theme of the whole Old Testament. Go check the script. Luke 24:44b. All the scriptures point to Christ, the Lord of glory.
Come on.
The whole Bible finds its fulfillment in Jesus.
There's a plethora of reasons from the text with exegesis that scripture has a death and resurrection thesis. Like many other scripture texts in their agreement, 1 Peter 1:10-12 is precious, read it. It's very clear and precise. All the Old Testament prophets spoke by the Spirit of Christ. So Jesus ain't just the subject but the author of God's word, so his interpretation is proper. And what was the subject of his message? Verse 11 says the Son's death and resurrection, cause the whole Bible, they summed up the story, the sufferings of Christ and his subsequent glory. It's the theme they were announcing. Jesus condemned Jews for not believing it's about him, and John he spoke with potency. Notice he said in John 5:46, Moses wrote of me, and Abraham rejoiced to see my day. Isaiah saw his glory in Jesus' face. Some will persecute this, but will interpret the Old Testament with Jesus' hermeneutics. Both Testaments' messages perfectly one. What's the Old Testament's word as a sum? God's gospel promised beforehand through his prophets in Holy Scripture concerning his Son. His death and resurrections according to the Scriptures. Speaking of the OT, surely it predicts this, but it more than just prefigures. Its progressive movement of redemptive events paints the portrait into fiction. So just grammatical, historical is actually deplorable if it doesn't point to him whose majesty's adorable. But if you ain't convinced and you're thinking I ramble, this whole album gives you specific examples that
death and resurrection is the main theme of the whole Old Testament. Go check this out. Death and resurrection is the main theme of the whole Old Testament. Go check the script. According to the script,